Okay, that seems to be working. Actually, let's make sure that sounds... Yep, sounds working there. Cool. Okay. Only... Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I tried to start at 9 o'clock, so an hour and a half ago. But the computer was like, something here needs updating. We don't know what that is, but you should probably find that out. And, yeah, so after clicking a simple singular update button, it finally came back. But, about damn time. Yeah, so, let's get flying. So I did think about, Tom, we are going to do the islands. I think it'd be much easier to do here to here tonight, or really there, than this jump tomorrow or the next day. And then we're in Japan instead of doing one day to here, one day to here, one day to here, and one day to there. So, full stream, hell yeah. This podcast sponsored by Georgia Plane Spotting and Ocean View Helicopters. Let's see, I used the 130 in the thumbnail, so we surely can't use that. Kind of want some speed today because this took a long time to get this working. We did the 225 crossing the ocean. We did this getting in. We've done the 222 recently. The Hueys always act weird for me, or else I'd do one of those. Let's go Chinook again. $5 a.m. What do you have to do that ends at 5 a.m. where you're okay with this thing lasting until 5 a.m.? I don't have a 135. The 140... Have I done the 145 since we hit in Russia? So I don't have the 135. I did the 130 in the thumbnail. But we could do the 145. Okay. Gold, that's gaudy. Ugh. Civilian livery. Livery. Not bad. They've got such a weird setup with the way the liveries and versions work. I absolutely love the highlighter liveries on these things. The highlighters and the yellows and all like the German versions. Oh, they look so good. The ADAC helicopters, so good looking. And I love the German. I love the 145 in general. But this is one of my favorites for some reason. So I think we're going to do this. Manage fuel. Let's bump us around. We can always top that off once we get in. Okay, saving back. Let's see, let's get to the island down here. We're somewhere around the fuel, which is there. So I'm going to set that as departure. I think we can really kind of just fly the coast down. We'll have to do one stop. I believe this is the one I want to go for because they seem to have a whole bunch of helicopter spots when I looked at it on Google. You're home and you don't have anything to do tomorrow. Let's see. So yeah, there's like a decent town here or whatever, and this particular airport has a lot of heli spots. Set as arrival. And I think we've got fuel here at Uka. If I remember right. And marked a few of these on my Google as always. Osara. Okay, cool. Not even on the freaking map. It's like right here. Not even on the map. Look, it's even shown. It's not even on the map as an airport. What do you think? Is that allowed to land there? Or do we need to land at actual airports? Because if not, we can make it down to, I don't want to do the military base, obviously. But this one down here is showing as an airport. Which it does have a asphalt paved runway. So this is acceptable by my terms. And that will definitely top us off enough to get down there. I'm happy with that. And zoom in and let this get flowing. Let's see. Okay, that's loaded in. That's set a start. Blah, 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 blah. Flight conditions. Gonna be live. 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 Save them back. Says VFR. We'll see. I went to go take the thumbnail picture down at the destination airport earlier. And it was less than optimal. So we'll play it as we do. Don't freeze on me. Stop doing this crap. There we go. Movement. That's what I like to see. Okay, guys. Welcome to day 17 of... Matt needs something to do, so he's flying a helicopter around the world in Microsoft Flight Simulator because he owns it and it's technically free for him to do because he already owns the equipment. So today we're doing it in the 145. We're on the top of a peninsula in Russia and we're going to the bottom of a peninsula in Russia because we're going to save ourselves like 2 to 4 days, depending on what my flight scheduling looks like, by using the islands to get south to Japan instead of going around some bay in Russia. Hope that makes sense. Anyways, we start up here. Flow's kind of worthless on this button. Sick. What do you know? It works. Ding. Testing in progress. Ding. Good job. Let's see. Don't need to worry about hydraulic systems right now. Don't need to worry about fire. Don't need to worry about that. Standby battery. Let's go and flicker you on. Go and get you on. Fuel pump priming. Don't need to worry about transfer pumps right now. Technically, we should be good to start, so let's click up engine 1 into starting procedures. Temperature is building, N1 is moving. Bachelor party went great. It did get kind of rainy on us, but not as bad as anybody expected. So that's a plus. The motorcycle that I bought for it ended up getting the absolute shit ridden out of it, but only by me and my friend. So it's like, okay, cool. Like, I kind of wish other people rode it, but me and my friend were the only people that actually had like some form of motorcycle experience. So it's probably better that that nobody else rode it. Come on, hit idle for me. Come on. There you go. Torpedoes on. Let's see. High intensity searchlight, don't care. Turn that to normal. Strobe light, should have had that on earlier. Don't care. Let's see what we got left. Bust high. All the way up here. Hit the reset on those bad boys. Okay, cool. That's good to go. Rotor RPM, I'm fully aware that that's lower. HTWAS, fail. Wow, why would you do that? That's wild. Where are y'all off? Huh. Make sure nothing up here is sitting in a weird position. Oh yeah, I probably want you two on. Let's see. Okay, cool. I'm pretty happy. So we click you up to flight. Click you up to flight. Let's close our cover so we don't end up toasting ourselves on that somehow. Autopilot, I'm aware. You can turn those off now since we're in flight. Rotor RPM is low. I'm aware you're working your way up though. Rotor RPM is now good. Red light should go off. Red light, there we go. Okay, Tiki Tower. This is helicopter 420 Foxtrot Whiskey. We are cleared to depart from the ramp. We've been topped off on fuel. We've been topped off by Elaine. And we are going to get moving. She's in the bathroom finishing up. But we're going to leave before she gets on. Departing directly to the south. Tiki Tower. I'm not exactly happy with that pickup just because haven't been in the 145 for a bit, so we're gonna set down for a second because I'm actually not happy with my seating position either. So we're going to address that. We need to move slightly this way. Can we get the iPad and the flight plan up so it's easier to see where you are? Yep. I prefer north up on my map orientation. Let's see, you're topped off on everything. Blada bing, blada boom. Picking up very slight right pedal of anything. Why am I so fucking wiggly today? Lock in, Matt. Hover for a second. Get your shit straight. Is the wind that bad? Where's the fucking wind sock? Oh, wind's up my asshole. No wonder. Wind from the left. It's like when you don't have a rear quartering tailwind, you can actually hover pretty decent. That's fucking wild. Okay, anyways, Tiki Tower, thank you. We are out of here. Telly Lane, sorry about the bad luck. Let's get rid of our cheater brackets up here. Adios. Off we go, guys. Once we get moving, kind of settle in a little bit. I may have to adjust my seating position in a little bit once we get more into it, but I think we'll be fine. Shut up. You literally have 2 engines and you're only at 78% torque. You have absolutely zero reason to be complaining at me. These FADECs are the biggest nannies. Let me twist the throttle with my hand so I can do it myself. But anyways, yeah, bachelor party went good. Which, I don't say was weird for me. Maybe weird to some extent. But, if you remember back to earlier episodes, I've talked about our range days that I've done. Or that I've kind of like assisted in hosting. So it's my friend's property who's a professional stuntman, and I'm a professional armor and kind of dabble in stunts and stuff as well. And what we've been hosting is what I've been calling choreographed range days. Because most people, you go to the range and you're like, okay, cool, let's shoot this target, then turn and shoot this target and put it on a timer and just like see how good you can do. Or you just kind of like shoot guns at a target. So anyways, we show up, everybody gets there, start getting the guns out and everything, and the range is slightly down into like a little pit that he's dug out a bit. Got 3 walls on it, so that way you can shoot 180 degrees. It's like a 35 to 40 yard by 35 to 40 yard square. Can only stay for about 50 minutes, you gotta go, but I should be back for a few hours after that. No worries, man. Just glad you were here waiting for me to start with, because I was an hour and a half late thanks to Windows. Yeah, so usually like people will park, we'll take some guns out, put them at the table, and down at the range. But on this one, we're like, okay, cool, we have a couple of people who aren't exactly stunt people showing up, and we're just going to do a, Jesus. Is it because I have people in here? Are you complaining about the wait? But anyways, we had, yeah, these people aren't exactly stunt people, so I figure like some of them are more hunters type of things or longer range stuff, so we can get up to like 250, 300 yards in this place, which isn't a lot by any means. But I didn't want to have all the stuff set up on a table that we'd be shooting over. So I said, cool, we kind of set it all over to the side. Anyways, everybody had their guns and stuff set up on the side where the table was under the tent because it was going to rain a little bit. And we had set up barriers and barrels and everything to shoot around. So that way you could do a little bit of like shoot and move and shoot and move. The range had a good like sand dusting on it so it didn't get too muddy. But do we do the range thing? Everybody has their guns set up outside of the pit that is the range. I say pit lovingly. It's not really a pit, but it is lower than everything else. And everybody just like loads their guns, walks to the edge of the pit, and shoots at the target into the range from like 40 yards. Like pistol, rifle, like subgun, shotgun, doesn't matter. Like only like 4 times did people walk down into the range to actually shoot. Like we rode the motorcycle into the range to kind of use the wall as like a half pipe. Then people were actually in the range shooting guns. So from like going from a place where the last time I was there shooting, we were using it like stunt people running around and moving and like running drills and like trying to teach some people some more tactical sort of things. It went from that to people walking to the edge of it, shooting into it, and then walking back to the table to talk some more, or reload, or grab another gun. It was, I don't say a culture shock, but because like I knew people weren't going to be running. It was going to be more of a chill, relaxed thing, do that. And I think 1 or 2 people had beers. Got there at 10, so at like 2:30 or 3, I cooked some fat fucking ribeyes for everybody. But like I said, it was just weird because everybody just, okay, cool, we're not going to walk down into the range and use these cool barrels and everything. We're just going to stand on the edge and shoot into it. So it was just different than what I expected. But, you know, still not too bad. Once it started raining, me and the one other guy who rode the dirt bike, I have more riding experience with him. Not with him, but more riding experience than him. And we set a lap time. We didn't do a lap time until it started raining for some reason. But I did a 1 minute 40 second .55. He did a 150.3 or something like that. So anyways, about 10 seconds difference. And I think in the dry we could get it down to maybe 120s. But with it being so slick, it's like you have to be on the brakes so early. Because like there's no clutch on the bike. It's like a weird clutchless automatic sort of thing. And like you can't really control too much about it. Some of the hills are more downhill through the mud, or you can't be all out through a certain area, because if you're in the 3rd or 4th gear doing what you should be doing through that area, you're going to push through and hit a tree or a tree stump just because there's no traction with the front tire for any sort of leaning or counter steering or whatever, backing it in. Like there were times where I was starting to back into a corner. We were only doing like 25 miles an hour. But I mean, I was starting to like back it into corners 50 to 100 feet before the corner, just that way I wouldn't like over push it and run over. Bike, it's a little Apollo 110. 4-speed, clutchless, manual, or shiftable, automatic, whatever way you want to look at it. My neighbor had bought it for his kid, like in 2018. Kid's gotten older since then, obviously. Kind of outgrew the bike, hasn't ridden it like 2 years or something. And I messaged him the other day because I was like, cool, this would be a neat thing to have there. So we're not just shooting and hanging out, like to have another aspect of fun to do. I was like, hey, you ever consider selling that dirt bike if you still have it? He's like, yeah, make me an offer. I was like, well, let me talk to my friend first who owns the range, because he's a big motorcycle guy. It's like, let me talk to him and see what he thinks would be fair for it. And I see him on Facebook going for like $500 to $700. So I was like, okay, cool. Let me see if I can like lowball him, but not completely lowball him, because like he's my neighbor. I don't want to be offensive, but cool guy, like straight dude. But I offered him like $350 for it. And he was like, how about $250? I was like, okay, cool, dude. I was prepared to pay you $350, but I'll take it. We're heading at a 216 to 210, heading somewhere in there, directly from there. How fast? We're only doing like 115 to 120. Apparently we're kind of heavy right now with all this fuel, and I don't know if it has all these people in here as actual passengers. So this next stop, I think it's Kuber. God, I can't fucking say that. Krutoberegovo. Egovo. Krutoberegovo. Anyways, if you're looking at that peninsula that we're on, it's probably the most aggressive thing that tits off to the right. So we kind of go down through this bay off to our right here. There's an island to our left that we're not going to go to, which is going to be kind of like up at our 11 o'clock now. Or I think we might go directly over the island. Anyways, and then there's like one tit kind of following up the bay, and then there's another tit we're going to the, it'd be like super sick if I had like a map here that I could like zoom out and show you. So there's the island, so we'll be going to the east of the island. And it's down here on this peninsula tit or whatever. So that's our location. Or not our location, but where we're heading. No way in hell I can pronounce it, but okay, let's grab our heading back. A lot of water flying today, but I'd almost kind of rather do water and push through this, which is why I'm opting for the islands than fly over Siberia where there's no towns or anything to look at. Let's see, let me get back to chat real quick so I can see what's going on. But yeah, I'll be trying to get as fast as I can. But I'm just going to be playing it with speed and available power and stuff. So like there, I'm barely pushing it or losing altitude on that. So also, it may have something to do with this. I do. It may have something to do with the extra air resistance that we have outside of us right now. But whatever. We're flying a very cool helicopter, and I'm very happy about that. So whatever. Okay, back into it. Yeah, I know. Okay. Cool. You're good, baby. It's okay, baby. Yeah, bachelor party wasn't too bad. Kummergumbagubaga, I think it's pronounced as Kummergumbagubaga. Like, I can't even, like, take my eye off the screen long enough to read what the hell you just wrote or try to, like, process what it is. Kermit the Frogavov. Yeah, I know. Shove it. Shovel that into your Ottoman helicopter. Take that. I'm trying to find new, unique ways to cuss that are completely unknown to man. Orange Jeep, what up, dude? Glad to see you here. Whole 6 people watching our over-the-water adventures today. Which, I mean, I think it'll get better once we get past that peninsula, because then I can hug the coast a little bit more. And I think there's a pretty stout mountain on that peninsula. But it's going to be a long one. Which also there's a chance that we just stop at Kermit the Frogula, or whatever this place is called, and we'll see how we feel then. Yeah, so potential for a 4.5 hour plus flight today. Which, who knows, we'll see, but had a super late start thanks to Windows updates. Also, the weather is less than optimal at the final destination, if I remember correctly. So we'll see. How do people do this? Like, you just feel like you're crawling over water. Like, I'm trying to stay low enough. We're at 1,500 feet-ish. And it's like, I'm just trying to stay low enough to where, like, I can see the waves moving past. Like, imagine doing an airplane ferry. Like a cross-ocean ferry. I was like, okay, cool, like, we can go 2,000 miles or whatever. Or, like, you're taking a Cirrus or something to freaking Hawaii. Which, I mean, I guess they're kind of fast, not too bad, but, you know, something slow. And taking that bad boy to Hawaii. Like, obviously, you probably have a friend with you, or else you're gonna commit Sudoku on the way out there. No, don't want to lose. We're gonna try to stay pretty level-ish. I can throw some more torque at it now that we're kind of settled in. A little more forward, a little more collective. We're going down a little bit. I'm just watching that freaking needle hit the red there. Leave me alone. Let me live the way I want to live. But, you know, whatever. It's cool. It's cool. Daddy's alright. But yeah, hope everybody's having a good weekend so far. Oh wait, it's Sunday. Hope everybody had a good weekend. I can tell you for one thing, freaking white-knuckling a cheap Chinese dirt bike around a muddy course surrounded by stumps and fallen trees. It speeds that were less than responsible, wears you out. Woke up sore today. That don't stop me. I hit legs today also. I did slightly upset the bride. Because, like, cool, I've already spent, you know, decent money for the bachelor party, for tuxedo rental, for all this other stuff, you know. We all pitched in, got the groom a gift. I mean, the dirt bike does stick with me, but it's like I wouldn't have got it if it wasn't for the bachelor party. It's a whole bunch of other stuff. Freaking $500 on a tux or something. And then today she messaged and she was like, hey, we're doing the rehearsal dinner or whatever. This is kind of the look that we're going for. And it showed a whole bunch of like people that you would think would like do sailing boats on the weekend for a hobby and then play golf before or after that. People whose like father's a lawyer, have a trust fund, that sort of look. And me and a couple of the other guys and because there's a group chat with the women and the guys in there, and we were like, really? It's like I honestly don't have any nice pants that fit right. All my tailored suits and stuff that I've had, I got back in early 2010s. Or probably 2014, 2015. So 10 years ago still, good time. Good while back. But with that said, I was also 150 pounds then, and I'm now close to 200 pounds, but all muscle and stuff. Like I was still 165 pounds like 3 years ago. Then started working out, meal planning, meal prepping, all that stuff. And anyways, it's like I don't have any dress clothes that are personal dress clothes that fit anymore because of that. And they're like, why don't you just go get some more, whatever. It's like, I want you to also realize I don't have any dress clothes because I haven't needed any dress clothes in the past however many years. So for me to go spend another $200 to $300 on something that I'm going to use once is unrealistic and irresponsible. and it's like, I'm I'm not gonna do it. Sorry, I have a pair of dress pants that fits, but my ass and my thighs are gonna look better than all the women's there. So that's on them. They're the ones that are gonna have to live with me looking better than them in pants. I have a 24 KTM 300SX, 23 Husqvarna FC5 FE450. So you like the Huskies. Is Husky big in Australia, or is it just you, you being a Husky enthusiast? I haven't got a chance to ride a Husky motorcycle, though. I've got a friend that lives in Hawaii that has one, loves the shit out of it. I have a couple of friends, I think Texas, that have one, that do mostly dirt bike and stuff. With my Hawaii friend, street drives his. But I've never been a dirt bike person. Not that I don't like them, I just never grew up with them as a kid. So I've never had the childhood learning of doing all that and figuring that out and doing little races or whatever. I mean, it's literally been, my first motorcycle was a CBR 600 RR. And then I had a Kawasaki, a Kawasaki, what the fuck, Kawasaki, Ninja ZX-10R, had that for a bit, had a Z1000. All those bikes I tracked. I pretty consistently took them to the track. Drag my knee around, do all that shit, you know, that's no big deal for me. But being that I never had a dirt bike, I never really learned wheelies or anything. Because I also didn't have like a group to ride with at first when I first got my 600. It was like, okay, cool, like I have a bike, I just go kind of ride it, and like the most wheelie I've ever done was like a power wheelie, or like being in a lower gear in the 600 or whatever gear on the 1000s really, and doing like a let off on the gas to pre-load the front suspension and springs, then get back on the gas to take advantage of the spring rebound. But I never had dirt bikes. I had like a cheap 125 Chinese one at one point, but that was after I already had other motorcycles and it barely ran, so I don't even really consider that a thing that I did. I can see KTM Group being big. Isn't KTM shutting down or something? Didn't I hear something like that? Or maybe it's just like KTM USA not selling anymore. I feel like I remember something in the news about KTM recently-ish, you know? Yeah, just never had dirt bikes because I never had it as a kid, so I never got them as an adult. Now that I have this one, you know, it's a fun thing to shoot around the range with. But it's obviously nothing that's going to be that much of a learning tool. I think what we're going to do for the property, I think we're going to invest in a handful of Yamaha TTR 125s. 75% of them, wow. Yeah, I think we're going to invest in a handful of TTR 125s because they are relatively cheap, very reliable, and it's something that we can also train people with. When I say we, I mean he can train people with. I'm sure he'll get me up to speed to where I need to be to help teach things, or maybe do more entry-level stuff while he does more higher-level things. I see a hill out there in front of us. But yeah, they have clutches and everything, so you can learn clutch-up wheelies, and they're a bit more stout. There was something I heard about KTM, either where they're stopping sales in the US, or maybe it's their street bike division they're not doing anymore. There was some sort of KTM news that I heard recently. But like I said, I don't remember what it was. I've always thought they're cool. I love their whole mentality behind making some of these different bikes where, I mean, it's just like, I don't want to use BMW's term, but they're kind of the pursuit of perfection for motorcycling, from what I understand, where they really, really try to get stuff figured out. They nearly went bankrupt. Know your Joe, what's up? Glad you made it. They're fine now, okay. Man, it's like, I hate to say also that people are too big to go bankrupt. There's been a lot of big companies that go bankrupt. But it's a lot harder for a company to go bankrupt when there's somebody like a manufacturer of something, because they have the means to production. So, I mean, there's a lot of car companies and whatever that have gone bankrupt. I mean, even in the helicopter world, where they've gone bankrupt. And the banks or whoever holds the value of it, after a sale, they realize that it's cheaper to keep the company, or it's better off to keep the company together and to put new management in it and try to make it work. Like, I think that's a thing that happened with Enstrom here recently, where it's like they went bankrupt because they got bought by a Chinese company, and the Chinese company kind of ran it into the ground. Then it got bought by some other investors, and the investors were looking at breaking the company up and selling everything. They're like, they have a whole functioning fucking helicopter factory here. Why don't we just hire people who care about this and use them for our benefit and make a business out of it? So, who knows? Goodbye land. It's kind of shoveling off to our right there. Shut up. Why are you so slow today? I should have picked the one with a freaking winch off the side. Ugh. Me and going after good looks. It's like me with women with freaking septum piercings. I know it's a bad idea, but I keep doing it. I'm very hopeful for Hill Helicopters. I watched just about every single one of their monthly or quarterly or yearly updates or whatever that they post. I think that's a very cool thing for them to do. I've listened to a couple of podcasts with him on it. I listened to different people talk about different things and Q&As and stuff. And I'm following closely on a lot of their quicker update videos and stuff that they post, talking about the different technologies of different manufacturing processes. I like the fact that they're trying to keep it all in-house. That's a big thing, for me at least, because I know from working in a Part 145 where we had to deal with overhauling different components and availability, but then also hearing podcast episodes with the new CEO of Schweitzer and Enstrom and stuff, where they're talking, and even Robinson with I think David's the new CEO there, but where they were talking about, like, you know, making new helicopters is cool, but most of your customers are going to come from pre-existing owners, and then, like, they're more likely to come back if you have a helicopter that's consistently able to be repaired and worked on and maintained. I was like, okay, cool, you can have a perfect helicopter, but if it flies for 4,000 hours and then you can't get a new, let's just say, main rotor blade, because they're just not making them in enough quantities, then you have a helicopter that dies at 4,000 hours. It's kind of the problem with the MD-520 right now, because you can't get tail booms for it, newly manufactured, or the people who have the tooling to make it also do so much other stuff where they're just like, cool, it's not worth us to reset up the tooling for that. But I think Hill will be a good thing. I believe the regulation process is going to take longer than they expect, but it is a smart thing for them to be in the UK for reasons that he mentioned of going through, like, the FAA or EASA. When you do that, let's say you get approved through EASA. It's a lot quicker of a process for you to then be approved by the FAA and other regulatory agencies. And same thing if you get approved with the FAA to get somewhere else. But the problem with that is EASA and FAA and a lot of other larger countries, they have manufacturers there already. So they're already dealing with a lot of manufacturers, a lot of aftermarket manufacturers, a lot of other stuff. Well, there's really no other helicopter or airplane manufacturers for that point in the UK. There are some, but nothing that's on the scale of what Hill is looking like it's going to be. So that puts them in a very good position to make friends with the regulators in the new UK's version since Brexit happened. And I think it'll be a more efficient process for them to get certified. I still think it'll take longer than they're expecting. Let's see what y'all are saying. In certain manufacturing realms, there are a lot of barriers to entry established by the leaders. Yep. I don't think they will make it. It's too cheap. I could see that. If they're able to get the scale up or the numbers up, that could help with that. It'll either come to be way too expensive or it'll be cheap and unsafe. The worst thing to have it is they've done is trying to make their own engine. I'm not mad at that though. I think if they're able to be successful in the beginning, it'll pay off in the long run. But I do think their advertised base price is too low, like you're saying. Or an aerial in there that's a known reliable engine. Be different, but their own engine has never been used, and they expect it to be perfect. Yeah. I think it'll pay off in the long run if they're able to survive to the point of the long run being a viable time frame. And I know people are comparing him to like the Elon Musk of helicopters, whatever, but I'll compare it to like a SpaceX thing. There are a lot of thought processes in the SpaceX engine realm that I respect, and the biggest one of that was re-look at everything and say, hey, is this absolutely 100% necessary to make this thing work? Because there's a whole bunch of repetitive systems and a whole bunch of repetitive processes and parts and whatever, which while repetition is good in critical systems, I think that turbine engines were built and they worked, but also for the bit of research I've done into it, I feel like they were never ultimately refined to be less complicated than what they are currently. I think the simpleness that Hill's trying to put in is a good thing. I think it'll end up being more complicated than they're expecting it to be. But I do think they're going to be able to take some complications out of it compared to something like an Ariel or a Rolls-Royce. Because I feel like Ariel and Rolls-Royce hit their stride. Or really any turbine engine manufacturer, but they keep it relatively complicated because that's what worked, and once they got it working, they say, okay, cool, we're not going to try to take anything off of this. We're going to leave this at sure, maybe it weighs 20 or 30 kilos more, but it works, so why try to refine it further? But I do like the idea or the thought process of people trying to actually to simplify it down and get rid of the unnecessary weight while still retaining redundancies in the sections and areas that you need it. But then again, you also don't get anything without change, which is kind of like why I have a love-hate thing with the Robinson R88. It goes away from what Frank's initial vision was, although I think any businessman would want to grow eventually. And it's like change has to happen eventually, or else we're all... Nothing wrong with a 145, but like they just came up with a 140. It's just a 145 and a 135 kind of had a baby and made a mid-sized ship. Like there's really been no new stuff. So I'm skeptical, but I'm hopeful. I hope that they figure it out and they're able to keep the price low. And I think even if they were to charge, 50% more, which is still a decent, not expensive, but it's still a good bit more than what they're advertising. I think if they're able to even sell it for 50% more, that's a huge thing, because there's really nobody else competing in that price range space for a single turbine helicopter brand new. So like I said, I'm skeptical of a lot of the claims. I think he's smart enough to make it happen, because it does seem like he just came out of nowhere, but he is very fucking well studied, and I think he worked for some other companies and stuff as well before doing that. Saw an aircraft one a few years ago, come off around 8K seated fighter. They don't know that 1734 hours completely fell. At least a known engine would be safer. True, yeah. That would be a safer option. I don't want to say safer option. For anybody that doesn't know, I don't know how many. We got 11 people in here right now. So anybody who's unfamiliar, my sticks don't self-center. So when I look at my phone, which is where I have chat running, I can't pay attention to where my sticks are, so that's why we get wiggly sometimes. Yeah, known engine would have been better, but I think part of their whole ethos for their thing was like design the helicopter around this engine, and that's kind of the point of it. Big claims, either way, it's going to be a big undertaking no matter what. I think they are hiring a lot of very smart people that are capable of doing it. Their time frame's tight, their restrictions are tight, but sometimes greatness doesn't happen. Also kind of reminds me of my helicopter. What are you saying? Are you trying to jinx our flight? Because we don't. I don't know if y'all are familiar with the Volkswagen Phaeton, which is a early 2000s Volkswagen sedan. Imagine a Bentley from the same time, similar chassis, whatever, but they had the option for a W12 engine in it. And W10 or W12? W10 maybe, I think W10. But the VW technical creative director, whatever he was, he told the designers, he was like, hey, I want this four-door sedan. I want it to go 200 miles an hour, 190 or whatever. I want the hood to not flap or kind of pressure bubble or wiggle or whatever at whatever speed. I want to be able to cruise 155 miles an hour for an indefinite. It's a whole bunch of super high shit, and half the design team fucking quit when they were doing it. But they brought on the right people. They made a fucking phenomenal car. Overpriced. Not many people bought it. But like I said, I'm hopeful for Hill. I hope it works out, even if it ends up becoming more expensive than what their goal was. I think it'll still be, even if it's double the price of what they were advertising their goal to be. I think it'd be a huge win. Yeah, Phaeton was a cool car. I've definitely looked at those now because they're so cheap compared to what they were brand new. But early 2000s German luxury cars, I don't trust. Oh yeah, and exactly, the not proven part's a big thing, You want to spend that much money, get an A-Star that's been refurbed for 1.7 or whatever. Hope for the best, plan for the worst. at the end of the day, I think even the fact that they've gotten this far to where they're, I don't say putting out this much content, but like showing that they are developing a lot of good stuff and processes for different metallurgical things. I think the fact that they're getting this far anyways is shaking up people in other parts of the industry. Where people like Airbus or Robinson and Leonardo, Sikorsky, I think they all are kind of looking at it going like, okay, cool, this player here, you know, they're not playing by our rules, but they're getting so much attention because they're actually making a helicopter fucking modern and not like an A-Star where it's the same body style since the 70s. Like the 505 was, as far as personal sized helicopters that were lowish price range, isn't the 505 the newest body style to come out? Why the heck are glass panels so expensive? Yeah. I had a meme about that at one point. It was like a Cessna. I had made it. I forget what it was, and I had a couple of different versions of it. Oh yeah, it was the lady playing with the kid in the pool, and the other one looks like it's drowning or like splashing around trying to swim or whatever. And the lady playing with the kid, it was like an Instagram airplane influencer. The kid being thrown up was like a $45,000 Garmin glass cockpit, and the drowning kid was like a $2,500 annual coming around the corner. Back to reading my phone, guys. Don't mind the wiggles. You got to head off in 10 minutes. Things do play speed. No worries. Like you said, you may be back, and if not, either way, you were here to begin with, so you're getting a gold star for that. Multi-shot mat, sponsored by Georgia Plane Spotting and Ocean View Helicopters, which that's a company Tom is a part of down there. Part owner, whatever you'd like to, purveyor down there in Sunshine Coast, Australia. So I expect everybody on here to buy a plane ticket, go down there, and then do at least 2 of their tours. Like I said, if you make it back, cool. If not, no big deal. We still got a lot more days of this, and I am doing an Australia leg now thanks to you. So if you don't come back by the time we make it to Indonesia, or to where I'll be doing that cross down there, then I might skip Australia. But if you come back after that point, you're like, hey man, sorry, I was in a bad car wreck and I hate that I've been in a coma for 30 days or whatever, but did you ever make it through Australia? Then I'll feel really bad and I'll turn around for you then. Part of. Part of, owner, purveyor, partial owner, full owner, corporate takeover manager, owned by family and friends. Look at that, boys. That looks like IMC conditions in front of us. Instrument meteorological conditions. Let's go. Because I believe this is here a couple hours a night. Or really the fact that anybody watches is still wild to me. Like if there were multiple people in here and we were talking and chatting and everybody was playing along and having fun or whatever, then it wouldn't seem so strange, but it's literally just me. IMC, I might crash. 56 seconds to live, boys. I heard a lot of good stuff about that video, then I watched it, and because I work in the film industry, I was like really disappointed with the production quality of it. It's like, I think the more impactful thing is to get somebody who's never flown IMC conditions and then just put them in a VR setup. Like, here you go, welcome to virtual reality, you can fly fine. Guess what? You're completely fucking in the soup now. It looks like you're flying in a stack of paper. Have fun. Because that was I think I said it the other day, but my first attempt at IMC conditions was from the ground with ground level fucking fog going all the way up to like 3,000 feet. Like full humidity, full thick, full pain in the ass. Like really like worst conditions that you would imagine for trying to do a helicopter flight. And after I did that, I was like, oh, okay, cool, this is serious. That rain or snow? We'll see. We'll stay right of or west of our flight director. Just that way we'll end up coasting this this island here. Give us a little bit of visual reference other than waves on the sea that may or may not be existing all the time, so. Anybody's wondering, that's not a normal viewer. I'm not using autopilot for any of this. So I'm wiggling sticks the entire time. It wouldn't be hard to put it in autopilot and just say, cool, take me to Kermit the Frog Yalova, whatever the name of this Russian airport is. But no, we're stick wiggling the entire time, guys. Still can't see the island, but that's fine. Ain't no worries. Although I do want to add a little bit of left bank in here. And come down a wee bit. Have a bit more visual reference. Because we were kind of skirting the bottom of the clouds there, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I'd rather not fly IMC this entire time. I'd much rather be slightly VFR. I've watched a few videos of, mostly it was like the UK coast of, I want to say like a 139 or something, doing an offshore operation with a full IFR with like a 250-foot ceiling leaving the airport. And just like watching it gave me anxiety, but it was like cool once they started moving where they got their speed on the ground and they basically just autopiloted through it, and they were in the soup the entire way until like 2 miles or 3 miles from the actual platform itself. And it was like, okay, cool, now we're slowly descending to make sure that we're going to hit our minimums and we don't have to turn around, and they broke out of the clouds at like 700 feet. And then you could see the platform like 2 miles away, and I'm just, shit, that's fucking, it was wild to watch. Like I said, it was, like I was almost getting sweaty watching it. I don't want to get going up right now, we want to stay level-ish. Gotta do something with my phone real quick, so we're good. Okay, Tom, see ya. Thank you for stopping in. If we see you later, we'll see you then. If not, then I'll see you on the next day. like, part of me wants to try to punch up through all this, but at the same time, I have no idea where the clear through altitude is. And we're also slightly heavy and not moving as fast as I'd like. So it gives me less room for the sound. So how's your setup going, Joe? You getting everything ordered and purchased and figured out, or you still trying to make a few decisions? No, I've actually never done the fan for myself. I did do that for my mom once. She wanted to see what I was doing, and when they were over, I put her in the seat next to me, and I kind of flew watching what her vision was on the screen. But she gets motion sick pretty easily with stuff, so I put a fan on her for it to be easily acceptable for her to be in it. And I was like, cool, you can hold your head straight the whole time, so that way it's just like watching your screen. Like, if you want to look around, you can. But yeah, never used a fan for myself. For the first little bit, though, like I said, I did it just looking at a laptop screen for like the first 60 or 70 hours or so in Microsoft 2020. And then I built this PC and got the VR and everything. And I went to VR then. But I already knew how to hover, so it wasn't as bad. It was just getting used to doing it in VR, which was a very quick adaptation because I could actually look around and make adjustments based on my visuals, which was huge because I could look out and see like where I was setting down. But yeah, I got woozy for the first 3-4 hours of VR, but I kind of just forced myself through it, and I did a little bit of airplane stuff at first as well, just to kind of make it where it was like less opportunity for wibbly wobbly stuff with the helicopter. So I did a couple little airplane flights just because they're more stable, and yeah, it wasn't that bad. But the guy who helped me piece together my computer, guy that worked at Micro Center, and kind of I told him what I was doing. He's like, okay, cool, yeah, so if you want to do the 4070 Ti Super, then we're going to need this. And he put me together a packet for like the perfect fucking price. I was messaging him the other day because we became friends on Instagram, but apparently he quit and got fired from working at Micro Center because he was helping people do computer stuff outside of working there at the shop. And they found out, and he was like, hey, I know that's they're like, or they found a way to make it a conflict of interest or whatever. And he was like, okay, cool, so this is probably fireable, but he's like, if you want to, we can call it, because everybody liked him there, but just corporate had a fucking issue or something. He's like, if y'all would like to, we can do it mutually, and I can just say sayonara and get out of here. And so they did that without having to write him up or whatever. But he's like, I was like, cool, what are you doing now? You still gonna be doing that stuff on the side? So he's helping people out with PC stuff on the side now. So I was like, okay, cool. Because I was like, I have people come in fucking chat daily, like, cool, what are you doing for this? What are you doing for that? So I was like, okay, cool. If anybody's local to Georgia or looking for a spirit guide, I'll refer them over to you. I'm dealing with FOMO. Yeah. I think the possibility of trying to read and fly without dying since we're staying lowish. I think it is possible for a lot of things to become really hard to get and a lot more expensive trying to decide what I need to get now while I can. Yeah, I can see that. That's definitely a viable thing to worry about here with tariff stuff coming in. I know they're making exceptions for like car manufacturers and stuff, but I'm curious if they're going to do anything with computer part imports or anything like that. But I am very happy with one tariff. Something Donnie... There's the land! Look at it! Just today, a few hours ago, Donnie T himself posted on his Truth Social, which I don't follow, but I saw a screenshot and a couple of news articles about it. But he's going to put a 100% tariff on any film being sold to America as like a new movie or whatever. That was not made in America, because a lot of productions are leaving the country. And I'm like, okay, cool, fuck yeah, I like that. Bring the work back here so I can get to work and start flying real helicopters quicker. So I am really curious to see how the film industry is going to spin this, because there's absolutely zero way that my union, IATSE, or the Writers Guild, or Directors Guild, or SAG, or anybody that's a film-related thing is going to go, yeah, I'm pro-Donald Trump. But with the fact that America's film industry is dying drastically, not slow, like very quickly dying currently, I'm very curious on how they're going to justify not being behind his position. So I'm going to be watching my my social medias here, Facebook and Instagram, and I don't really follow anybody on X that I know. But I'm very curious to see what my film friends are going to say, because like the union stuff, they're not going to be like, oh, we're thankful for Donald Trump for doing something to bring in the film industry. They're too like blue no matter who sort of mentality to even say that anything that he said. If he were to be like, you know what, I wish war didn't happen, they'd be like, hell no, we want war everywhere, we don't agree with him. Like, it's like sickening one thought process that they don't have the ability to agree with one thing that he says but not agree with something else. It's all against or all not for, you know. But I'm, like I said, I'm very curious to see what they say about this. The thing is, we just don't know for sure how all it's going to be shake out, especially in the short term being the next 1 to 2 years. Yeah, exactly. And then it's also like, cool, in 2 years, the fucking 6090 is going to be out probably, you know? So it's like all that fear of missing out on the 5090 is going to turn into fear of missing out on the 6090 or the whatever CPU or the whatever motherboard. Who knows? So many different things, technology and performance is all changing every day, and shoo! This ain't a short leg. Especially with this helicopter not wanting to go faster than 100 fucking knots because I have this stupid shit on the side of it. That's so annoying. I think you said that you had like gone back to the store and like they had just put some more out on the shelf or something like that and you were able to snag one. Had you got a motherboard yet? Or was that something that you were still looking for? Because if you do, make sure that the USB-C port or whatever port that your VR will go into is capable of providing the amount of wattage that you need to your headset to work. not got a motherboard. Yeah, so make sure on that. So you'll end up spending double on the motherboard, apparently. But I think you also mentioned that there's the PCIe additional slots that you can do, to where you can add an extra whatever in whatever the second PCIe slot is, and pull more power. Which I've actually looked at that since you mentioned that. I just haven't touched it because what I've invested in right now is working, and I'm not going to throw another $80 at that right now. Mostly because what I have right now is working, and I don't want to fucking jinx it. Which is also annoying because the headset every once in a while will be like, ooh, moisture or debris has been detected in the USB-C port or the charging port, so we're not going to be doing power or whatever through it. I'm like, there's no moisture in there. You literally stay plugged in on my desk. There's nothing in there. Then I have to hard restart the headset. And it's like, okay, cool, we're all good now. There's nothing in the port. Yeah. It can become a whole new computer very quickly. I don't want to say I would change everything that I'm doing here, because like I said, part of my goal was to stay at $2,000, because the whole reason for my setup to begin with was to do something that was learn how to hover, and then the cost of the computer and the VR and the simulator should all be cheap enough to where that investment will save me at least that amount of hours from the typical person learning to fly a helicopter. It's like, okay, cool. I could have gone and spent $8,000 getting better controls and a fucking full-blown computer, water cooling, a Pimax Super, Ultimate, Ultra, whatever headset, and all that other whatever, you know. But it's like, cool, at the end of the day, that $8,000 to $10,000 I don't think would have saved me $8,000 to $10,000 worth of training. I think I would have quickly picked up on hovering either way. I don't think I would have been an 80-hour pilot trying to get my private. I think I would have been maybe a 5 to 7 hour learning to hover in real life sort of person, or getting to a comfortable place in hovering sort of person. I'm expecting to be much quicker now. Dark over there. That's fun. So yeah, I'm expecting to be a lot quicker now. So my investment in this is right at the edge of what I consider profitable or worth it or break even, whatever you would like to call it, for learning how to do all this. Because if the simulator was double this price, I probably wouldn't have done it. It's like $4,000 or $3,000. It's like, okay, cool, that's 10 hours of rental time. Not worth it, you know, because 10 hours of that plus still a $2,000 computer and $500 VR and accessories, and that time it's like, cool, for that 16 hours equivalent cost, and I could have just flown the real thing for fucking 16 hours and had 16 hours going towards being on my logbooks. New motherboards, new RAM. Only thing left is the M.2 NVMe SSD. Already have the coolers. I did get a new case for the 5090 because of the heat. We're so far into the setup, it's crazy. It's almost a case of no matter how big your backpack is, you'll always fill it up. It's like, cool, you can have a fucking little bitty JanSport and just have it stuffed full with books and folders and binders and whatever. And you're like, okay, cool, let me get this new, like, triple zipper compartment backpack. Well, guess what? In 3 months, you're going to have it full up anyways. Like, no matter what you do, you're always going to max it out. No matter what helicopter you buy as a business owner, you're always going to get it to the point to where you're running it as close to maximum capacity as you can, because that's where your effectiveness is of it, you know? Very rarely is somebody buying something and keeping it within their means. Yeah, you know how it is. Ooh, getting darker. I like and don't like that. Yeah, it's like it. Like I said, people rarely get something and just underuse the capabilities of it. Unless you just have like some sort of extreme excess form of money. You know, like even looking at some of the big YouTube people that don't do anything crazy with their channel. Like, if you ever watched Demolition Ranch back in the day, or Off the Ranch, he had this, he was sponsored by, I think Zydac Computers, who build wild water-cooled gaming PCs. Like, as soon as the 3090 came out, he got this crazy PC with like 2 radiators in it, fucking case the size of a closet, like literally all the best stuff you can do. I went on their website and priced it out. It was like a $16,000 PC, like unreal build that they sponsored him. And it's like, well, he doesn't really game. Like, he edits videos with it. Like, yeah, sure, it renders the shit out of a video. But also, I don't think he's a person that would sit around and wait for a video to render the entire time that he's doing it. You know, it's like, even when I do something that's not a live stream thing and I'm making a video, I click render, the computer kills it pretty fast. You know, it's a 4070 Ti Super. It's not slow, like 3090 equivalent-ish speed. It's like, if it says like 10 minutes, because I walk away and I go do something, I'm not losing any time. I'm just using that as like a, okay, cool, this gives me 10 minutes to go do task B or task C or whatever. So it's like, he was definitely underutilizing his stuff, but he was given that stuff. So, who knows? I feel like it's an excess thing that's not really enjoyed or done by many people. I'm a mere financial mortal. I do want to change that though. Oh yeah, me too. I think I've said it before, like at night I watch, like when I'm getting ready to wind down to go to bed, I'll usually watch like Grand Theft Auto videos. It's like, okay, cool, it's people doing stand-up comedy basically and improv acting. But really everything else I watch is like making something where I can get information from it to help myself better make something. Or I'm watching like business videos like Upflip or Cody Sanchez or whoever, where people go and they go to businesses and they go and they break down the different things that they've done and the numbers and how it's all worked out for them. And that's usually what I'm doing and watching and consuming, because I would love to get to a point to where I don't have to worry about a 9-to-5, which I know that's what everybody says, but I don't want to have to rely on that, for lack of better terms. I'd love to be able to do, even though I wouldn't mind being a full-time helicopter pilot, doing a utility work or long lines or utility work, whatever, you know, something challenging. Even though I wouldn't mind doing that full-time, you still get like half the year off. You only work half-time, basically. But I would love to be at a point where I could have some sort of side business or something that basically runs itself, or just with a few emails and computer checkups a day. I don't want to say an e-commerce store, because I feel like it's super played out, but something that I can create and put on e-commerce would be better. I definitely don't want to do drop shipping. I think it's fucking cheap and there are people that get something out of it for consumers, but I'd rather provide something unique and not something mass-produced. There can be more to some YouTube channels than what they let on. Oh, yeah. Yeah, like, only reason I bring him up is because he didn't do any, like, a lot of special effects or visual effects or anything that would require, like, rendering out any big visual effects things. There were some, like, motion tracking things he would do here and there. Some, like, more advanced transitions or, like, smaller things at it, but he wasn't doing, like, CGI sort of level stuff. There's some channels that put a lot of effort in, and I've edited videos for some other channels in the past. I don't give too much of a shit with mine because that's not where my pride comes out of. I just kind of have fun enjoying the process of everything. But some channels put in a ridiculous amount of editing, and you're like, oh shit, that shows. There's one that I saw recently. What was it? Okay, yeah, so it was this dude, and everybody in the comments was freaking out because this guy came from nowhere and dropped the absolute, like, highest production quality YouTube video that I've ever fucking seen. It was unreal to watch, and, like, I watched it, and, like, I texted people that I know. I was like, hey guys, you have to watch this video. Like, you have to look at the amount of production quality that went into this. And I don't remember exactly how to search it, but if you search for graphic designer redesigns a local sandwich shop or something like that, like you'll find it. It'll pop up. It's like a dude. The thumbnail's like a dude laying on the ground surrounded by organized sandwich ingredients. Fucking so well made. I watch one guy for time talking about current events, his living room study. He had a new video every day. I cannot figure out how he was able to do that every day. I understand what it takes. Found a pic of him and his employees, all 120 of them. Oh yeah, some channels when they get big, I mean, even if it's just one face, but there's a lot behind it. Like some people, they still retain their editing or whatever. Like you look at let's think Big Viral, Whistling Diesel. So I mean, he obviously has a team behind him that goes around and does a whole bunch of stuff, but he still retains his editing because it's his style. But I do think he has people that will edit different clips for him. Like if he hires professional camera people to come do certain shots for certain things, he'll let them like edit that together. But I think the overall speed of the videos is his creation. That's part of what he enjoys. I mean, but you look at people like Mentor now. I think he has a few people working for him. He does a handful of airplane-ish things. What's what I'm thinking about? Half as interesting. Like, you know, he's got a producer team with him. Like Veritasium probably has a pretty decent producer team. Smarter Every Day, I feel like it's smaller than what people his size would usually be, but his videos also feel a lot more personal and whatever, so that I think that tracks. But yeah, if you look up this fucking guy, like I said, look up this sandwich video, and if you haven't, I'm about to tell you the name of the guy that does it. Don't mind my voice to text here for a second. Graphic designer redesigns local sandwich shop. Super Ordinary, SUPRORDINARY. It's called Episode 1, Giving a Small Sandwich Shop a Big Rebrand for Free. 408,000 views, good for him. Like I said, well deserved. He only has 60k subscribers. He did like a trailer for the sandwich shop thing, but his first full video was that sandwich shop one. And like I said, it was by far the absolute best produced YouTube video I've seen in years. Like Mr. Beast obviously has a shit ton of producers and editors and whatever, and he's got a hand in a lot of stuff, and a lot of people, a lot of hands in a lot of things. Oh yeah, management agencies are definitely a thing, because I mean, you have a, like, you look at it from just the advertising standpoint, like, you have to have management agencies for these people. I say these people, these channels, these personalities, these whatever. Because it's such a powerful advertising tool. This is going to fucking suck. Look at this weather in front of us, guys. So with that said, I'm probably not going to be looking at chat a whole bunch. Yeah, Beast has a major crew. He employs thousands, I would assume. Because he is like Mr. Beast Spanish, Mr. Beast French, Mr. Beast whatever. But like, for people that are 100th of his size, 3 million subs, how are you supposed to get to them to advertise with them? Because like, they obviously have channel sponsors that they're going to be using to do stuff. Let's see, do I fly completely in the soup, or do I get down low and try to like still see the water when we get up here? I'm thinking we might go low, and then if I need to throw altitude at it, we'll throw altitude at it. Yeah, this weather fucking sucks. But I'd rather deal with this weather for a day than drive over Siberia for fucking 4 or 5 days. Okay, if I drop altitude some here, it looks a lot better. Yeah, like, how do you get to these people? And also, like, you look at, I don't even know the names of TV shows that are out now, because I just don't watch TV. Let's do the one that I was working on, Will Trent. Like, one of the most popular TV shows out there. Let me see. Will Trent viewer numbers. The season 3 premiere was the show's most watched episode at 9.7 million viewers. And that's the most popular show on ABC currently. We are way facing the wrong way. Most popular show on ABC currently. 9.7 on the most popular episode. And people are going to miss episodes here and there. So they may get, let's say, a third of that usually. 3 million people a week. Once a week. And that changes. And then they have only 45 minutes of show, or less, maybe even 30 minutes of show, because of all the ridiculous commercial breaks and everything like that. And then you say, okay, cool, well, what about... Actually, we were pretty online. I was looking at the borderline. Yeah, so you have freaking 3 million people kind of watching, kind of paying attention. When a commercial break comes up, they walk away and they go use the bathroom, they go to the kitchen, they take the dog out, they talk to their wife, they get on their phone, whatever. So you can assume a normal TV show gets anywhere from 100,000 views to like 1 million views once a week. And sometimes even lower than that. And they're spending hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars per episode to produce these. And they're not even getting the full attention from the people that are watching during the commercials, because people are going to walk away, versus you have a YouTube person like Mr. Beast, Demolition Ranch, whatever fucking channel, I only really know the people I watch, Cletus McFarland, or Heavy D Sparks, or whoever. And they average 1 million views 5 times a fucking week. In some cases, like Cletus is doing Month of Freedom right now. He's going to be getting like 1 to 3 million views a day for 30 days straight. And the people who watch him really like him, and they really trust his opinion and ideas on stuff. So for a sponsor to come through and get in contact with him about saying like, hey, we need to do a sponsor with Cletus where he does AG1 or whatever, it's like, cool, probably a lot of fucking people that that try to get in contact with some management agencies are probably very, very welcome. Broadcast is a dying industry. I have no idea what you're saying. But thank you, I guess. Or if that was meant to be insulting, thank you. If I have a hater, that means I'm doing it right. I honestly have no idea what that is, but I'm also partially believing that that's Georgia plane spotting on an alternate account messing with me. I see a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel here in front of us. That's not bad. But I also know this whole region's going through a lot of monsoon-y type of stuff right now, so I can't complain too much. But yeah, broadcast is definitely dying. But at the same time, it's dying, but I don't think it's dead. I think it just needs to change. Because despite my best efforts, like my father will still just turn on the TV and either just lock into the same fucking show for months at a time, or never change the channel, or whatever. It's like he just isn't. He consumes a lot of stuff, but I feel like most people who are watching television now traditionally are too lazy to change the channel, for lack of better terms, you know. I told him when I was like, hey, you need to stop watching the same fucking thing over and over again. Like, turn off Everybody Loves Raymond, turn off whatever show that you're looking at or you're getting into. Like, stop. You're watching it to a fault. Like, it's a bad habit for you to be in, to lock. Like, I was like, get on YouTube. You have a YouTube account to where you can subscribe to people. You subscribe to Multi-Shot Matt. When I post a video, you get a little thing when you open the app. It says, look, Multi-Shot Matt posted a video. If you subscribe to 50 people who do things that you enjoy, then you can go through and watch videos and throw them up to your TV. He knows how to cast. It's like, you can cast these to your TV, then watch fresh content, brand new stuff every day that is specifically catered to what you want to see. And you never watch a fucking rerun. And then he's like, okay, cool, I'll give it a shot. Gets on YouTube, finds a channel of some old dude that goes to RV parks and talks to other old people with enclosed trailers that are converted to RVs. And he watched that for 4 days straight. The same guy, same fucking thing. Well, you know, we decided to put solar on the roof of ours because we didn't want shore power. Well, guess what? Everybody else did too. You know? Like, holy shit, but these people, they, I don't want to say these people, my father, your wife, like you just said there, your wife, watches the same stuff all the time. Yeah. I was like, so I don't want to say, like, these people, but for a lot of people, they don't care what's on. It's a noise because, guess what? He's also looking at his phone half the time, too. And I'm sure she's looking at her phone a pretty good bit of the time too. Unless the show's like on and she'll watch that, but as soon as commercials are on the phone, and then she doesn't even realize the show came back on because that's what he does. And it's like, like I said, broadcast is dying, but I think they need to change the way they do it. Because there are people who are never going to do the YouTube thing properly. Like I do, and what I assume y'all do, to where you see somebody like, cool, I like Cletus McFarland. I like cars, I like airplanes, I like helicopters, and I like doing cool stuff. So I'm going to subscribe to Cletus McFarland. And then every day when he posts, or every other day, or every couple of days when he posts, I watch his new video. Same thing with Heavy D, same thing with a lot of channels that I watch. And it's like, I get to consume brand new content that's basically made for me. Because I've been watching YouTube since 2009, whenever it came out, whatever. It's like I've refined, and it's not on my multi-shot mat account, obviously. I've got another account that I run YouTube Premium on. But it's like, over all these years, I've catered an account that literally just feeds me what I want to watch. And I never run out of content. And it's like, if I don't want to watch my main popular dudes, then I can watch some, which I usually want to, because those are the guys I watch all the time anyways. But if I've already exhausted all of it, if it's a rainy day, same guy flying the same helicopter all the time. Yeah, but I can go on different unhinged rants every once in a while, so that's why it's fun. Yeah, so then there's like other channels that I might watch 1 out of 10 videos they post. But for the most part, I can like go down my subscription list every day and have 4 to 5 hours of content to watch. And like I said, it's all like cater-made to me. Which is, I won't say like, oh, I don't want to get sentimental, oh, it's a beautiful thing. Like how cool is it that we live in a place where we can have content that's specifically catered to what we want to see? And I know it's hard to teach that to people that are more locked into the sense of traditional media. But I wish it was easier to teach them too. I wish it was easier to say like, hey, cool, like, look, you really enjoy, because whenever he's here, I'm like, hey, let's watch a Drew Build Stuff video, or let's watch a Ammo NYC detailing, or like Obsessed Garage does a lot of detailing stuff, but also like high-end tools and speakers, and basically he's a guy with OCD that just likes finding the best things out of everything. But he's also very boring when he starts talking, in my opinion. I'm sure some people like him because they also are like that deeply interested in what he's mentioning. But I can't watch all of his videos. Another guy like that, Last Line of Defense, does like overlanding builds, has a website where he sells stuff, which is where his money comes from, and I'm sure YouTube and stuff now as well. But he'll do a video where he's like, hey guys, I got a single cab whatever Tundra or whatever, and I really like this truck, so now I'm just going to kind of say the same thing over and over again for 45 minutes. And I found that you can like fast forward 1 minute, listen for 10 seconds, fast forward a minute, listen for 10 seconds, and you can get the full synopsis of his video with that. But he's incapable of speaking slowly or speaking concisely. But I can't watch him all the time. I can't. It's too fucking boring for me. So I'll wait till I see a video that's very, very in my interest range. Like, oh cool, he got an LC200 Land Cruiser or whatever, which is a vehicle I'm looking at getting a 08 to 2000. I'd prefer like a 2012, 2013. Or they didn't make it in 2012, but like a 2013 Land Cruiser. It's kind of like my ultimate next daily driver that I'm going to get. So it's like, I see him get that video, and it'd be like, reasons I got this year instead of this one, or reason why I got the Lexus version instead of the Toyota. It's like, cool, I want to do this because I respect his opinion, because he thoroughly thinks through a lot of stuff. But he just can't make a short fucking video to save his life, or a concise video to save his life. So it's like, I don't watch him often. I would consume his videos a lot more if he was able to be concise with his thoughts, or if the full 45 minutes was actually 45 minutes worth of content instead of 10 minutes of content stretched out into 45 minutes. Like, I can watch Rob Dahm, who does like the rotary engine stuff. He built the turbo all-wheel drive 4-rotor. Building a 12-rotor right now, which is fucking sick. I can watch his videos anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour and a half all the way through, because at the same time also it's like very, very informative, like very, very information dense. He's telling you new stuff all the time. It's not repetitive. It's not dragging on one fact for fucking 15 minutes. So it's like I can watch him, even though his videos are long and boring for some things. They're boring because a lot of people don't want to bring in that amount of information. While me, on the other hand, I love information. I love learning. Very rewarding, like that guy asking all the questions. Joe, whatever goes on and on, will never leave that heli guy alone. Well, like I said, it surprises me every day that I log on here, and then one of you guys jumps in within seconds. Like the other week when I was doing or earlier this week, when I was doing the scuba diving stuff, I did a post or whatever. Or I done a post like last week where it wasn't a video, but like one of like the informational posts, like a text post and picture. And it was like, hey, I'm fighting a whole bunch of technical gremlins right now, so stream will either not happen tonight or be delayed until tomorrow. And then this week when I was doing the scuba diving stuff, I had said the days before the scuba diving stuff, I was like, hey, don't know how tired I'll be or whatever, just because it's don't know how involved this whole recovery is going to be, so I may or may not stream. But Tom commented on it. He's like, hey, you gonna be doing it tonight? And it blows my mind that somebody wants to sit around and watch this. I don't know if that's a good way it blows my mind or a bad way it blows my mind. Like, what's wrong with you guys? Or it's whatever, but I sit here and I chat and I talk, I pay attention to people. Like, I feel like even if I had fucking 50 people being consistent in the message, I would be trying to read everything that I could, like within reason to where I'm not gonna fucking crash. But it's like, people have their things they like to watch, just like my the Grand Theft Auto roleplay stuff that I watch. It calms me down, lets me sit down and relax, get some good laughs in or whatever. And when I run out of whatever they've done that week, I'll go back and watch one of their older ones and watch a rerun. Because if I'm not looking to consume something new, it's kind of like a good palate cleanser. Like back before I was really, really big into, I don't want to say strictly YouTube consuming, but back before I started making YouTube my primary content source, I would watch Netflix shows or Amazon shows or whatever, and every year I would do like one full run through How I Met Your Mother or something like that, where I wouldn't even have to sit down and watch every episode. I would just turn it on, it would be on. But that was kind of like my palate cleanser. It's like, okay, cool, I've consumed enough new shows, my brain can't process any more plot lines right now. Let me just turn on this show. It's all in the same 3 sets anyways. It's like they're in the bar or they're in Ted's apartment, just easy to watch or whatever. So it's like, cool, I have my palate cleanser now is just going back and rewatching some of their older things. I'll watch a 3-hour video about tariffs relating to computer stuff. I don't just need to spend any money, but the struggle is real. Dude, I feel that. I feel that hard. I'm a car guy, which I know they're doing a lot of manipulation with the car stuff to like, okay, they won't affect some cars or it'll be a lower rate for cars, but whatever. But it's like, I don't want to buy a new car, but there's a lot of things that I do want, where it's like, shit, do I want to try to get it now, or do I want to wait for its used market in the future? Because I don't think their inherent value is going to change. Like the tariff, I think, is just going to have to be something that the initial purchaser will soak up. So let's just say, I don't know the price, let's just say a 5090 is $2,000. And with tariffs, they're $2,500. I don't think once the first person buys it and they use it, let's say you can normally resell a 1-year used 5090 for $1,500. I don't think that's now going to be $2,000 because you're having to pay for that extra $500 tariff that it costs to bring it in. I think it's going to be like, cool, this thing right here is still only worth $1,500. It's just going to have to be a cost that the initial purchaser is going to absorb. Kind of like markups with some cars when you buy a new, like the first person to buy a C8 Corvette, or the first people in town, like, okay, cool, there's a 25% dealer adjustment, or a 50% dealer adjustment when the Ram TRXs came out and shit like that. And now fuck your dealer adjustment. Give it to me at MSRP because it's not worth that much money. So yeah, they'll have to make their money on the tariffs, but I don't think on the secondhand market that markup's going to matter, or that markup's going to have any sort of influence into it. But that's what my assumption is. Oh, I just realized I haven't given my guy a kiss back here yet, so hold on everybody. It's going to get silly for a second. Okay, but anyways, back to it. He'd been riding back there, so being very kind the entire time, so that's one of our H145 things. When we have that passenger back there, we gotta let him know, hey, y'all are doing a good job there. You know, it's a long flight today. Y'all are hanging in there. Oh no, I lost a viewer when I did that. Yeah, it wasn't gay, it was for the homies. It's a difference. Okay, how are we looking here? Closer than I expected. We're still just under halfway through since passing the island, but not that bad. I just wish I'd done the civilian version of this and not the SAR version, because we can have an extra 20 knots of speed on here, and we'd be much closer. Or an extra 20 knots consistently. Like with this, I'm having to fight it to stay above 100. At least now we're more in a crosswind instead of a direct headwind, so that's nice. But we're still ground speed slower than fucking airspeed, which is a bummer. I don't care who you were kissing, as long as it's not me. Wow, rude. No, only dudes I kiss is my dog. Dino is the only guy for me. That's just because he likes helicopters as much as I do. And he's a dog, so, you know, he deserves kisses. He's a good boy. And whose idea was it to fly over water today? What an idiot. It was like, it's either this or we'd be flying over some boring fucking ground with like middle Siberia shit. Well, actually, no, we'd be doing like boring ground on the peninsula that we were taking off of. And then we'd hit the water, and then we'd be flying over water anyways. Probably be an hour shorter stream overall. But, yeah. Also, I think once we hit our midpoint here, I might end this flight and swap into something. I'll do another 145. But I'll get into one where I can actually, you know, go faster than a fucking 110 knots without fighting my torque. Yeah. I don't care for flying over water. I don't really want to do it as a profession. Unless it's something that's very planned and there's a good maintenance program and stuff, I don't have to worry about it. And there's procedures set up for emergencies, preferably twin engine. But I'd rather not. But like I said, if I get into doing the piloting and somehow I get a job at PHI or something doing Gulf flights out to the oil fields in the Gulf of America, then I'll gladly take it, because that's a quality paying job and their programs are very well set up. Good safety record. Yeah, shoreline flying I don't mind, because you can usually have the distance to auto rotate down to the beach. But out here, there's no saving me. It's press the emergency beacon, and we're all wearing fucking, I'm going to assume this orange jumpsuits are cross the water flight suits, so we'll just assume that. But then again, there's the guy called JP that flew his little home-built aircraft over the fucking Atlantic Ocean from the far western point of Africa over to the Caribbean, Bahama sort of area, which is wild. It was like a 14 or 15 hour flight or something like that, I think. I think it's Sling aircraft. Their high wing was what he did. Which apparently they even have like a flight school that only operates Sling aircraft now, like in LA or something. Out of Van Nuys, I think? Maybe? One of those LA schools. Yeah, oil rig deals are a lot better than just flying around the world. They keep up on their stuff. At least I'm just considering all these helicopters rentals and in good condition. Don't even run any sort of test things. Don't even run the test flights beforehand. You're just, okay, cool, let's see how it goes. God, this is so annoying being having to go this slow. We picked the 145 because it's quick, but it's quick when there's not freaking parachutes hanging off the side of it. I think like in a real world scenario, doing like an around the world flight, you'd be much more conscious of your above water time. Like I feel like that's an unnecessary safety risk when you could just take an extra day and fly around this way, or an extra day and fly around that way. For us, it would have been like an extra 4 days because we're only doing short hops, just for me staying sane during a stream. But I think in real life, when you're doing 8 to 12 hour days, that little detour would be worth it to go around the peninsula and just do a short water hop than doing 4 hours of, or 2 hours or whatever of water crossing. It's so beautiful out here. Not having to look at Siberia. But yeah, I don't know if you were in here in chat the other day when Tom was talking about it, but I think we're going to go down to Australia now. It's like a week and a half detour if I play it right. Maybe a little bit more because I want to go down the coast and get down to where his area is. Just as like a thing to him for being a good viewer. And sticking out and dropping around and saying hey all the time. But we're gonna do an Australian leg, where instead of like cutting across Taiwan, like sticking to mainland and Thailand and all that, we'll jump the islands down there through Indonesia, hit the Sunshine Coast, turn back northwest, head up to the northern coast of Australia, jump back over, and then come back up through the southern bit of Thailand. But then that also opens up the ability, or not the ability, we always have to, it opens up to where it makes more sense now to make this an all-continent flight, except for Antarctica. Because I don't think it's worth doing the flight to do all the way down South America to do a super long ocean crossing in like the 225 or whatever, to just be like, cool, we made it to Antarctica, there's nothing down here, then turn around and come back. I don't think that's worth the time, honestly. I do plan on doing a Pan American series, so with that said, I may do it in the Pan American series and start off in Alaska and go all the way down and finish and then do that jump as a last thing. But I think a full South America trip just to hit down there would be too much. But with that said, since we're doing Australian, I can hit all continents now except for Antarctica. I'll go completely down the east coast, and even though I'll have to go through Georgia, I'll skip over landing in Georgia, because that's where we started. And we can do Florida, the Keys, the Bahamas, and Caribbean islands, and all those islands down there. Hit South America, and then swing back up through Central America, and we'll come through Texas. I'll wave at you in DFW, and then we'll come east, and then kind of hit the Gulf Coast, swing up through Columbus, which is where Georgia plane spotting's at, and then we'll end back in Hampton. Uh-oh, I see land. I see it on the map. I don't... Maybe I see it out there. Kind of hard to tell because there's fucking weather. I guess that's kind of the soft plan for right now. It's not set in stone, but it's kind of what we're planning. That's kind of the momentum I'd like to keep. Of course, that's subject to change for the South American bit. If I get a call that says, hey, we want you to be working this show or whatever, then it depends on how full-time I am on the show or how part-time I am on it. If I'm doing 2 days a week, then yeah, I'm still doing this. But if I'm doing 4 to 5 days a week on a show, then I'm definitely not doing this on the weekdays, and I'll do this on weekends. But the scheduling's all super silly with film stuff. So it's it'll be hit and miss with that. And if that's the case, then I'll continue the series and try to do it in the shortest bit, so that way I'm not stuck doing this for another year. But we'll see. BRI. Okay, cool. Have fun. I think you're 2 hours behind me. We'll see you in a bit. If anybody else is in here, feel free to pipe up and throw a topic in here and we can discuss it. Literally almost any topic I will talk about, and I will either agree or argue or just rant. So that's up to y'all. If not, I'm going to kind of just focus in here on milking every single knot I can out of this 145, which is flying super slow because we happen to be in a rescue configuration with a couple of parachutes on our skids and parachute on the side with the rescue hoist. And sorry about that, my sticks don't self-center with the peripherals that I have, so I can't exactly take my hands off the controls for stuff like that. But yeah, if you're in here and you're watching, feel free to say hey. If not, no big deal. I'll just be, like I said, locking in here to make it to this point, and we'll stop at the FBO and we'll let everybody go take a pee break, and then I'll definitely swap to a 145, then I can actually do 145 knots. That would be nice. Yeah, like a 350-foot cruise, 120 knots. Like I said, I'm kind of having to really milk everything. Can't see the coast over there. Coast is over there. I can kind of see it behind the clouds there, but I can't really make it out yet. It wouldn't be something where I'm calling coast, at least with what I can see in VR. And anybody's wondering what I'm talking about milking it, I'm talking about the my right screen here. I'll kind of point this out so y'all can watch what I'm watching. I have my airspeed right here, and this is more or less how much power my engine can give me. It's like a mixture of torque and temperatures and speeds and everything kind of combined into one easy number instead of managing all of them together. And the FADEC, the engine control system, screams at me when I don't do it perfectly. So I'll try to add collective to allow us to build some more speed. As you can see, that requires more torque from the engine. So we hit the red there and it's angry at me, so I'm trying to keep that down while maintaining an altitude, which is my vertical speed indicator right here, altimeter, altitude, radar altimeter, and that's just a digital readout of what my radar altimeter is. Back, 1133, not bad. Hope you had a good pee, or snack, or if you pooped, that was a very efficient one. Good job. So a fun poop story. I was at my friend's house the other weekend, and they have two kids. One's like 1 year old, and one's a bit over 2.5-ish, somewhere in there. Anyways, they're potty training with the 2.5 one. And mom was bathing the girl, and the boy was going to hop in the bath. And first she was like, hey, go, they're potty training. So like, hey, go try to poop. Or he got in the tub, he's like, wait a second, I got to do it. So he's like, poop. So anyway, she's like, okay, cool, sit on the toilet. So he sits there. And like 2 minutes later, me and him are, the husband are sitting downstairs talking. And we just hear, holy shit. guys, you have to come see this. So, or our break, I guess. So yeah, so me and, he goes up there and looks, and he goes, Matt, get up here. I go up there, this fucking 2.5-year-old kid took a crap the size of my forearm. I'm 6'2", like 200-ish pounds of like athletic, lean muscle. Like not thin, not thick. Like this kid took a shit the size of my arm. That thing had to have weighed like 4 or 5 pounds. I don't know if it was just like made out of foam and hit the water and expanded or something. That was huge. I had no idea what to think. So if he did poo, I hope it was one as big and clearing as that one was for him. That was like 2.5, 3 weeks ago. I've still yet to take one that big. I'm trying to beat it, but I can't. Very proud of him. So yeah, there's the multi-shot Matt poop story for the stream. Although I do want to say there was like a week period where like every one that I took was like identical to the last one. Expando poop. Dude, I swear. Like you look at it, there's no way it was the size of the kid. Like part of me thinks that she did it and she just like left it in there to fuck with us. Like it's almost more believable that that was the case rather than that being what actually came out. Ground speed 98 knots, airspeed 110. Still fighting a little bit of a headwind. Beautiful. Is there an estimated time of arrival on this thing? Not that I can see without leaning down too far and throwing off the helicopter way too much because of the stick setup, so. Oh yeah, fucking Randy taking the world's biggest shit. Trying to beat that one guy, but that one guy who previously had the biggest shit record was Bono's father. And then Bono now hold the record because Bono is actually the world's biggest shit. And he couldn't stand being in second place because he is the #1 shit. Or something like that. I believe that's what the storyline was. It's like he didn't want to flush it, so he kept it and nurtured it and raised it and it turned into fucking Bono. Also, I want to say that this helicopter auto trims. I do not have my feet in that position since it's kind of doing everything itself. My feet are squared up. Which is kind of annoying, honestly. Because I like being physically into doing whatever I'm doing. So, it's kind of like driving with assist on in a game or flying with assist on in this or whatever. Okay, let's square up. We're getting close to the shore, which means we're going to have more weather data for what's going on, which means we're going to have more weather to fly through. Yay. IMC conditions ahead. Which, if I stay low enough, I may still be able to somewhat VFR. Special VFR. Moving my mask around a little bit. Getting everything locked in for this little section. Because even though we're at 250 feet, visibility's more questionable than it was before. And the biggest thing with that is the horizon doesn't exist right now for me. The horizon is... Oh, there it is. That's nice. And when the horizon's gone, but I can still see the water, it kind of throws me off. But that's what instrument flying is for. That's what it's all about, guys. Flying with your fucking instruments. Kind of hanging slightly left here because it looks a little bit thinner. Just a white cloud above us, or is that? Yeah. I swear that freaking Fadek torque things are gonna haunt my dreams. That one. I keep hearing it when I look down. I'm not even anywhere near the red. I'm like mentally hearing a little dong here and there. But finally, on the very bottom of our iPad there, we can see shore in our flight director's path. That's nice. It's the first time it's had us directed to go over ground since we took off. Front quartering headwind, still pretty stout. Ground speed 91, airspeed 101. Rain's getting thicker. Horizon's getting questionable. But we continue on. The cool thing is, I think the weather data out here is so shit that it's not like, I don't think it's going to over-weather us. Because I'm sure some of these areas are like thick, heavy rain. But I think that the data out here is so shit because there's no like weather stations that is going to keep us kind of just in this foggy, bullshitty mess. Which is still somewhat VFR-able. Not really, but it is. At least good enough to where I'm not having to go completely into my instruments here. I look at my phone for a fucking second and go hard left. We're straightened up with the director there. Doing about 200 foot above. Kind of have a horizon out there, not that big of a deal. Looks darker to the east or to the west. I can throw some more speed at it for sure. We've got plenty left on the table. Some downside too, when you start really focusing on not crashing, you start losing airspeed. Yeah, I'm real-time everything right now. Or I should be. Yeah, that is kind of part of flying instrument as well. It's like you gotta watch your airspeed. Because if you don't have it, if you're in a plane, you can stall and just drop. The helicopter though, and you're not in a helicopter that wants to hold speed apparently. This thing just wants to fucking parachute itself to a stop every single time I take my freaking attention off of it. Still can't see ground in front of us, but I know it's out there somewhere. I'm trying so hard to hold still right now. Why are you losing altitude? I didn't do anything differently. Because I'm right at the cusp of where it's going to yell at me. Basically at max cruise for the setup of this fucking helicopter right now. Sorry if I'm not talking. I'm trying to lock in and do as much time saving as I can. Oh, pop my back. What a mess all that up, all that hard work of locking into the direct way. Mm-hmm. Of course, this lighting change messes with the iPad brightness, so I just see basically a lighted out screen. Can barely make out any differences between the ocean and the ground. Times like these, I wish I didn't make the rule to myself where I couldn't use sim rate. Boy, I would love to just speed through this real quick. Put it on like 3 or 4 times speed and be down to the ground in no time. No. I have to be honorable. What a dumb thing to do. Fly around the world. Stomp down that right foot, give it some more gas, open it up and let them horses run. See, I almost would, but this is from Hype Performance Group, and they're very, I won't say particular, accurate, or whatever, but they're very good with their models. So I don't know how much damage or engine damage or whatever is programmed into it. So I don't want to risk toasting it after doing 2 hours and some time over the water and having to do an emergency landing, or having to shut down one engine and limping her in there. I'm trying to be as good as I can with it, you know? Now, this was one of the other models where that wasn't a thing, then maybe I would. Just for my own sanity. I have to be somewhat careful with the Hype Group models because they're very well thought out and done. Don't worry guys, Boring Simulator is almost done for now. We'll have a bathroom break before we get back into Boring Simulator. Or, we call it a day and stop at this middle point and we pick something faster. Because it is almost 1 o'clock a.m. for me. Yeah, it does not when it comes to forced landings, that's for sure. Rising pretty far out there, that's nice. Or it's just the clouds tricking me. Yeah, I'm basically full fucking steam right now. I'm really doing like 110. Don't complain at me. No, I didn't even move the fucking collective. You literally have everything you could ask for. You have cool air, slightly moist, so they are thick. You gotta get up in the AM, what a show off. I also do need to get up in the morning at some point. I've got some things to do. Nothing professionally though, thank you film industry. But I've got some other side things I've gotta figure out. But if you disappear, no big deal. We got 8 people in here now somehow. Everybody else feel free to say hey. If I lose my main yapper, and then y'all are going, oh man, this stream's so boring, we don't want to stick around. Well then, start yapping. Somebody else jump in with some topic to fuss about, or to rant about, or to whatever. We're definitely close to our middle point. Yeah, if you gotta go, no big deal. Like I said, like I tell Tom all the time, it's like, hey, I gotta go, or whoever's like, get out of here, go to sleep, sleep good, you know? I'm just here doing this thing that's a fucking dumb thing to do. And it's just nice having y'all in here regardless. Nah, there's plenty of rants to be started and to be had. Right now the rant is like why I didn't build a urinal next to my PC. Who invented having to take a piss? Why can't my body just be efficient and burn this fucking water off? Like, why can I not be a humidifier for my room? Also, if that was the case, imagine how disgusting everything would be. You're just like a full-time sweater. Oop, I can definitely see land up ahead of us. Way out there. Kind of disappearing now, but I could see it for a second. So I have hope. Hope is restored. The world is not as bad as it seemed before. And again, I'm going to rant about I need to buy a better fucking chair. Or steal one from somebody. Need a chair sponsor. How do I get a chair sponsor? Guys, trust me. Sponsor this fucking channel. Give him a chair. He's going to shout it out to so many people every night. Do you have to write donations like that off on taxes? If somebody gives you a chair as a sponsor thing, is that a taxable income for the business? It's like, I'm sure it can be, if you want it to be, if you need it for numbers. But I'm sure it also cannot be. See, I also don't know if I want to rant, because when I rant, I dry my throat out, and I drink more water. It is taxable fun. But yeah, and I drink more water. Fucking hate taxes. Here's your rant. But yeah, then I'll drink more water, and then I gotta fucking piss more. But like, how taxable is it? Is it like the government putting in the tax forms, like, if you have any stolen property, make sure to report that because it can be considered a taxable income? Like, is it that sort of taxable where they want you to do it, but there's really no way they could fucking trace it? Or does the company that gives you something for marketing actually sends you some sort of like 1099, like, okay, cool, you got a payment in the form of something which is X valuable or whatever. Oh, God, my legs hurt. Sorry about the wiggles, guys. I'm trying to make my balls not fall off while sitting in the world's worst office chair. Which I'm sure it's a thing. I'm sure it could happen. So I have to be careful. And we're almost through our main tank. Goodness, wind. What's going on? Strange. Do I have pedals now or something? Jeez. Oh yeah, that's definitely land in front of us, boys. That is definitely land in front of us. Very happy for that. It's a good day. Honestly, this feels like it was longer than the Alaska-Russia crossing. Maybe because we're going slow, maybe because it actually is. It probably is farther distant. And on top of that, freaking winds and driving the world's most inefficient twin-engine helicopter when it has exterior additions. A smart man would go around this peninsula because of clouds and unknown terrain. I'm a desperate man. So that's probably not going to happen. We'll play it low, we'll play it slightly slow. Or I'll aim for this water down here in the middle sooner rather than that later step. Kind of judge that as we go. So if anything, I'm going to want to be a little bit... Well, I'll take the lower area that's kind of dead in front of us there for now. Almost there. Yeah, I think I am going to call this the middle for today. I'll readjust the description after we finish the video, but I think I'm going to call this it for today. So my leg is sore. I have to pee, and it is 1 o'clock in the morning. We had a super late start thanks to Windows updates. Value counts as income. You'll have to remember the government has this tax stamp for illegal drugs. So accounts can properly claim the income for all those large sales. However, there are no deductions. Yeah. Fucking despise taxes, despise the government, hand in fucking absolutely everything that you do. It's another reason why I want to be much more financially independent. Because there's a point where they can still get you. You know, like, I don't be like Al Capone got because of taxes. It's like there's a point where it's like it doesn't matter how much money you have. They can still take you under. I mean, they tried to get fucking Trump on the value that he assessed or reported or claimed or whatever that his I think it was Mar-a-Lago was. It's like it doesn't matter who you are. If they want to do that, they can. But there's a point where once you hit a certain amount of money, certain amount of income, certain amount of value, that you can pay people to help find all the rules to get around and loophole that you can. They cannot claim expenses, therefore all sales counts 100% pure profit as far as they are concerned. Interesting. Because there are a lot of little things and stuff that I play right now as far as finding easier loopholes, deductions, things to claim. But I know, like I said, once you hit a certain point, it's like you really need to have almost a full-time professional who knows how to work those rules and things to help you out with that. Because even if you're paying an accountant, let's just say, like we had one for a company I used to work for that would come in once a week and do stuff. But he also worked for like 4 other companies, and he'd go into them once a week and like do their books, and us once a week do our books. It all depends if they set their sights on you. If you do better, if they know you do better, you have really deep pockets. Yeah. Yeah, the guy used to go to like 4 or 5 different companies throughout the week, or maybe even more. And he would do their books and go on to the next one, or go do them the next day or whatever. And it's like, even if you're paying him $1,000 a week to come in and do your stuff, if you're making enough money, he can save you more than $1,000 a week in fines and finding loopholes and helping coach. Shut up! I literally haven't moved the collective in 5 minutes. But he can coach you through so much stuff that it would be worth it. Okay, so like this right here is the direction that we need to be going. But I'm going to keep trying to shuffle slightly left. Just that way it puts me more here over this water instead of the water here. Because if the weather's bad over there, I'd rather be able to stay low near the water than trying to play guess the terrain. Shut up, you're not in the red. I need to have a talk with Airbus. This engine torque middling out at 68's dumb. Make a stronger transmission, idiots. And 42 kilograms left in the main. Imagine how much fuel we'd have left if we didn't have a freaking winch on the side. Like a whole new world. We have so much stuff accessible to us if we didn't have this stupid fucking winch on the side. But no, I like the way that this one looks. Dumb thing. That's what I get. That's me and the freaking women with septum piercings and stuff. I think they look cool, but I know it's a bad idea. I should know better by now. And maybe now that we're this far south on the peninsula, maybe it's more aggressive terrain to where it's not like Siberian terrain. Maybe the peninsula is actually kind of nice. Fingers crossed. Shut up. Transfer pumps are on, good to go. I believe that was merely a selling point. Airbus, you build the coolest helicopter. H-145 got some cool skids, super capable. But then you're just like, you know what? You just gave us $10 million for this helicopter brand new. We're going to not let you use all the torque available. We're just not going to. $30 kilos left in Maine when we get to the ground. Maybe 29. Once we hit. Wow. Fucking journey. Guys, we're over land. Y'all are much nicer than Elaine. Yeah, this feels much more Alaskan-ish to the left. Also looks like we're far enough south to where the trees and stuff are actually rendering in and being less generative and more placed on purpose. So that's nice. Okay, let me zoom in here. Looks like we're going to be skirting around just the edge of this mountain range here. Not that bad. Did you read the comments about above selling point? Oh no, that funny, that actually didn't. It all depends if they set their sights on you. If you If they do, you better have really deep pockets. Oh, yeah. The downside, it's like, I can just be like, cool, I don't want to pay taxes, and not. And for the most part, being as small of a person as I am, they're not going to care. I know people haven't paid their taxes in 10 fucking years. And nothing's happened to them. But as soon as you make any sort of money where it's like, it's worth it for them to pay the tax man X amount of dollars to come get you because you've taken away way more than that amount of money in tax revenue, then they'll come after you. So if you're going to evade taxes, make sure that it's complicated enough to where it's not worth it for them to pay for somebody to figure out what you've done. Because if you're just normally evading taxes as a rich person where you only owe a few $100s, they're going to come after you and go through all your shit and hit you on stuff that you didn't even know existed. But if you make $100,000 a year and somehow you squirrel away enough where it's going to take fucking 15 years for them to find everything, they're never going to do it because it's going to cost way too fucking much. The government's inefficient, but they're not that fucking stupid. Sadly. Hey, I love IMC over variable terrain. I'll kind of cut slightly left. Just that way, hopefully I can see this water up here. Yes, I'd rather fly above water in IMC than have a mountain jump up out of nowhere at me. Kilos left in the main tanks. See sky that way. Can't tell if it's thicker ahead or if there's just no discernible features, which that might be the case since that's where the water is. Don't count on that. It depends on if they want to make an example out of you for whatever reason. Yeah, true. Yeah, downside is, unrelated to that comment, but it's like, cool, like, you can be like, cool, I'm just not going to pay taxes. What are they going to do? Like, cool, they're going to dock your pay. If you're still working for somebody, maybe you have a business, they're going to start investigating the business and taking away your EIN number and all that stuff and coming in and trying to shut you down. Then eventually they'll send somebody to you to physically collect or to arrest you for not paying taxes. And the downside is, the people who are arresting you are paying taxes. And you could be like, hey dude, do you want to pay taxes or not? And they'll be like, yeah, but everybody does, so you have to. It's like, cool, if everybody jumps off a cliff, I don't want to jump off a fucking cliff too, bud. If nobody pays taxes and nobody enforces it, then it solves the problem. Easy. But the downside is there's so many people who get their job as a police officer or a marshal or whatever, where it's just like, they just want to follow the orders regardless. Like, they don't care. Okay, cool, you tell me to do this, boss, I do that. You know, we follow orders, that's what I'm here for. I'm an order follower. Fuck those people. And that's the most annoying thing. Like, I had was talking to a friend, back during the beginning of the federally mandated everybody stay home type of rules back in 2020, and I was like, come on, some of these rules are so dumb. Like, who's even going to enforce these? And he was a guy that was a military guy, was also in the oh, there we go, that's 0 fuel in the main tanks. But he was also guard now, did some police work as like a job, but then also like helped out at a gun shop or whatever. I was like, it's so dumb. It's like, okay, cool, like we need this, like who's going to enforce that? I was like, man, I don't see cops being like, okay, cool, let's take away this. And he's like, dude, it'd be so, like, and I heard him like later talking about like, dude, it'd be so sick if they'd be like, okay, cool, we're gonna shut this down, nobody leaves their house, and being able to patrol and keep people in. I was like, do you realize how fucking bad that is? To be somebody who will just follow orders to tell people what to do and like zero backing or whatever. Like, I'm very pro be your own fucking person, you know? The only time I want to tell people what to do is be like, do what you want to do, as long as it doesn't affect me or anybody else. Don't do anything that creates a victim. But yeah, it was so like disheartening when he said that. I was like, oh man, why do you think like that? Like, what possesses you to go like, okay, cool, yeah, I want to do this very questionable thing of doing this just because somebody gave me the orders. It's called the Nuremberg defense, and everybody who tried that after World War II didn't get absolved. It sucks now with this lake because the lake doesn't have any sort of wind or waves like the ocean did. So it's nice following the shoreline, but I gotta cross the shoreline here. Luckily I've got the other side in sight now. But the smooth lake is dangerous because I can't tell where it starts. So I'm definitely watching altimeter and stuff now. Broke out that little bit of fog cloud there and it already feels better. Holy crap, 130 knots right now. And just a wee bit of a tailwind, about to be a little bit even more. This is what it's like flying with the wind in our butt. I see you commented something, I can't read it right now. We're kind of in non-fun conditions for looking down for a split second. And I do not want to fuck this after sitting here for 3 hours. Yeah, and we're gonna call this the leg today. I'm not gonna double leg this. We gotta start at a normal time with a what? Fuel reserve, yeah, I know. I'm aware. We have tailwind now, guys. We have tailwind now. But we also have shit weather. So that's fun. Got both tanks on reserve now. Finally choosing at the speed we deserve. Okay, whatever. Tower or traffic. This is helicopter 420 Foxtrot Whiskey. We are a few miles to your northeast currently. We are inbound for whatever you got. Weather's kind of shitty, so we're gonna land, sit down, and have some warm cookies in the FBO. If you see anybody named Elaine, please keep her away from us. Whatever. Tower and traffic. And maybe tomorrow also the weather will be better, so we can get out of here cleaner. Clean ground here, then it goes to snow. Fun. Is it going to change our precipitation on the windshield? Yeah. Oh, no. Not yet. Maybe up here, where it gets fucking dark. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. It's intimidating as shit. It's dangerous, but we're going to stay low. I don't know if there's any approach procedures for this aircraft, or for this airport. I don't think there is. Okay, cool. It's thinning up. It doesn't look as dark now once we got to it. A little bit of a ridge up here. Throw a few more feet at us. .40-ish pounds per side now. Or 40-ish kilograms. Should be more than enough. We're pushing it right on the edge. Okay, keep an eye out, guys. There's an airport here somewhere. I'm assuming kind of like right over here. I'm kind of pointing midfield right now. I do not want altitude right now. Fog and rain and snow and a whole bunch of shit. None of it's desirable. So this looks like this is probably it right here. the longest stretch that it looks like. I believe I see, looks like a runway now, so yeah, this is us. Yep, and we're abreast with the end of the runway there. Cool, we made it. I don't want to fucking jinx it, but at least we made it this far. Nobody approaching. We're gonna go straight to ramp. Where's the wind coming from? Directly from our left. Hello. What I want to do is land this direction here because that's with the wind in our nose. Oh, it looks like piss dust out here. That's fun. Boys. Boys, 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 boys. Idle. Idle. Oh, man. Let's read some comments while it's scrolling down. I wish you could actually be flying in that mess. Yeah, exactly. I could actually be flying around the world in real life. While it would be fun, it would be a fucking event for some of these things, you know? Off, 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 off. Landing lights. Off. Those are down. All that's off. Blades are pretty much stopped. Master battery off. And close you. Okay, everybody, welcome to G. No airport name? Great. Welcome to Krutoberegovo. Welcome to Krutoberegovo, Russia. We are on the eastern coast of that peninsula. We had an extremely slow flight because apparently this here is a parachute, and this here is a parachute that slows you down when you fly. Who would have thought? Anyways, we made it. We're here. We're gonna go get some cookies at the FBO here, and we're gonna throw away this fucking helicopter because who wants to deal with that? But we're locked in for this location. Let's see. End flight. Cool, so tomorrow, or next time, we will go from there down to, I think this one here. They've got some helipads. we'll do another normalish helicopter there. Or maybe even we'll go further south down to this one. And once we do that, we'll do like the 225 or something and do a big crossing here. Then we'll be in Japan. So, yeah, easy enough. Easy enough, easy peasy. Little jump today, but a meaningful jump. Well, still decent size, just fucking weather. But, yeah, that'll do it for tonight. No, it was a boring one, but we're going to have boring days. Either way, that's part of it. Boring day there. We're going to have a boring day for that jump there. That'll be big. These days will be kind of more exciting, but still boring-ish. Because a lot of water. This will probably be a boringer day. We'll have like 1 or 2 jumps through here that will be boring-ish, but they're still islands, so it's not bad. And they're close. Probably boring here for a bit, but there's still things to see in airports. A lot of war story things to talk about there and here, and there'll be a boring day there doing that crossing, but not too bad. Then a couple of boring days there. And other than that, it should be pretty exciting all the way back through. But either way, I'm going to call that a night for tonight. Joe, thank you for being here. Tom, if you come back and watch this, thank you for being here at the beginning. Georgia Plane Spotting, I know you're in here, but you're probably asleep. So, I'll see everybody next time. Like, subscribe. We'll be back. We still have another 80 episodes to do. Or something. So, peace. See ya.